I wonder, like, if you guys heard other horrible stories, horrifying story like that while you were in Axum, like near you, like if there were like it sounds like there were, like you said, I mean, if you go beyond Axum, a lot of atrocities were committed.
Uh, this is the things that I'm telling you guys is like what happened in the city of Axum. So beyond and surrounding village and towns in the Axum area and every city of Axum, so many things happen. It's just we've seen them. It was no. You see the Ethiopian troops coming in with their food, like with the lots of boxes of crackers and that little can of soup. But the Eritreans, uh, we didn't see that kind of stuff. We did not see they have uh, that military food. Neither do we see they were sharing with the Ethiopian forces. We didn't see them sharing foods, but the Eritrean forces were just grabbing the farmers' animals. This is another sad story. They were grabbing their goats, their sheep, cow, and they would just kill them and eat them right away, and throw their parts of their body like on the street. We've seen it when I was on the way to Addis. I've seen it on the village. So many dead animals. So amazing. And one amazing and sad story I was told is they were our neighbor when they were on the way to Axum. Three cousins. I don't know if I told you last week. Three cousins when they were collecting the grains. Three cousins. They just killed them. And this story is when they get into a farmer's house and they told him, "Hey, kill that ox and then um, cook it for us." They said that to the farmer, and he said, "I'm so sorry. That's what I used to in the winter to make my grains and to regrow the grains. I used the ox, so please leave that for me." They, they grab the gun and they say, "Kill it or we kill you." And he did. He did. So after they cook it, and there were about 9 Eritrean forces, I was told. They were sat down and eating. He was a militia. So he grabbed his gun and he killed them all. He killed them all and then he shot himself. It was so sad. It's one of the things they do when they go to the village. There's no question asked. His sheep, his goats, they just grab it, kill it, and eat it. If they have any grains, they will take it, and afterwards they start. This was like the beginning of December, the first week of December, I would say. The the Prosperity Party sent by Abiy, it came to Axum on November 30th, and after they've seen everything, they said, "Hey, if you have a generator, we can generate electricity and then start grinding the grains." They start doing that. They allowed 25 kilogram per family, 25 kilograms per family. I don't know how long it will last you that. It's so many people. There were so many people. Like what I said last time, no one was ready. So many people lined up um, to grind the grains, and they will register their names. Thousands of people. And while people sitting in line for 2 days and 3 days, the Eritrean forces would come with the grains they have stolen from the farmers, stop everybody, and grind their their stolen grains and leave. They used to do that too. So basically, all the Eritrean forces in Tigray, what are also doing is steal their grain from the farmers, have it grinded. When they start to have it work for the people that were really hungry for weeks and months, they just go there, stop it, stop the people, and then grind their grains, somehow make it a bread or whatever. That's what they eat. So they are feeding themselves by killing the animals and taking their grains. This is another crazy thing that is happening also. The village, forget it. The villages are going through some hell kind of time right now. It is so crazy.
Because they're stopping the farmers from harvesting, right? They're stopping farmers from harvesting, one, and two, like you said, they're killing the farmers' animals, like cows, because that's what they use for farming. So they'll say slaughter those cows for us to eat them.
That's it. That's how they're feeding themselves. That's how they're feeding the Eritrean forces. How they're feeding and what they are eating is the Tigrayan farmers, grains, animals, and everything. I don't know how many animals has been killed so far or been eaten by the Eritrean forces.
While they do this, the Abiy forces, they stay in their watch and do nothing.
Some of them, they're on their side. Some of them are like, they look very sad, like what I've said last time. But it's just, you can tell there is something behind all of this. This was purposely set up. This was purposely, they were told, they were given instructions. That's what they look like when you see them side by side. Those two different forces, what they were doing to the people and to the cities and villages. There was an instruction that has been given to the soldiers. So how is it possible the Eritrean forces will kill and breaking into houses and do some horrific things on the other side of the street? You can hear when the Ethiopian forces are on the other side of the street. They can hear the shootings, they can hear the screaming, the breaking into houses. How is it possible they just remain silent, remain quiet? This is just, there is beyond the scene, there is another mission, another message. I don't know. And another thing I wanted to say is, my personal opinion, I don't know if the Eritreans know this. The Eritrean government and the Eritreans know this, but it looks like this was done on purpose. The Ethiopian forces will remain silent, and the Eritrean forces will kill, destroy, and do all the bad things in Tigray because they want or they need that little disagreements between the Tigray and the Eritrea people. They want that to go to the worst. I think this was purposely done by the Ethiopian administration to stay in hate. Those two Tigrinya speakers
Not to unite.
Forget about uniting, but not even you can live as a neighbors right now. Think and consider every Tigrawite feeling about Eritreans right now, especially about the Eritrean forces. So I don't think the Eritreans are or have understood this mission by the Ethiopian administration or by Abiy or Prime Minister of Abiy. I think he did this purposely to have us stay in hate for centuries, to think that the Eritreans have killed us, to consider them as our number one enemies. I think it was purposely made, and the Eritreans did not get it. I don't think the Eritrean forces or the Eritrean government, well, they agreed and they started this together, but I don't think Abiy's idea, my personal opinion, I think Abiy's idea is for those two Tigrinya speakers, he wanted to them stay in hate and fight each other for centuries. That's what my observation was when I was in Axum. You see while the Eritreans were killing and destroying cities and villages, and the Ethiopian force will just looking like nothing is happening.
Yeah. So just to add to what you're saying, Solomon, I think I just want to mention two things. So yeah. I've read an article that they're playing a game. Yes, I mean you're right. In some parts of Tigray, like you said, Axum, some of the Abiy forces, they did not participate as much as the Eritreans, but they did participate in killing and also looting Tigrayan civilians in other parts of Tigray. But I think they're playing the tactic that they when they are blamed by the world for the crimes that they committed,
yes,
so that they're trying to put the blame on each other, on the Abiy forces and Eritrean ISAS forces, put the blame on each other on purpose, so they'd say like, no, I didn't kill anybody, they killed. And then the Abiy administration said, no, we didn't kill anybody, the Eritrean forces killed the Tigrayans. See, they're using that tactic. But then to go to your point, to the second point is that they are widening or digging more hole to the hatred, the hatred between the Tigrayans and the Eritreans to get worse, to the point, like you said, to forever to be like enemies. That's exactly. One, with the Eritreans. And then two is even with the Amhara people. Like right now, all Tigrayans, the reason why we don't feel Ethiopians anymore is because like not everybody is silent. The majority of Ethiopians from Addis Ababa are silent. They're not saying anything. They're not saying anything. So what is this? They're also creating another hate between the Amhara people and the Tigrayan people. So they're doing multiple things. Like you said, they're creating one, they don't want to be held accountable, both of them. So they're going to play the blaming game on each other. And then two, they are digging more hole for like hatred, so to be enemies forever. So like you said, this is by design. This is by design. It's not by accident, ladies and gentlemen. This is by design. This has been premeditated, well planned between Abiy, the unelected prime minister of Ethiopia, and the dictator of Eritrea. Both of them, they have planned this. So I just want to add to what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the Ethiopian forces, like when we went to Shire seeking for a transportation, there was a particular group with lieutenants or something, I don't know. They were so cruel. They were torturing people. They were hitting people. They were cursing people. Those are the Ethiopian forces. And they told us they were given an order because the Eritrean forces, with all they have looted, all with the things they have stolen, they couldn't go through Badime, which is West Tigray. So they have to be what was the word?
Like they have to watch them. Like
yeah, there is a word for it. I forget. But they have to go with them and look after them. So those particular group of soldiers, Ethiopian soldiers, they were at Shire airport. They left to look after those Eritrean soldiers, to go through to make it to Eritrea.
Oh, they were leading them. They were leading them.
Not leading, but they were looking after them if anything happens, because they were not able to get out of Tigray, the Eritrean forces, with all the things they have stolen, because the militia could not let them pass through or to get out of Tigray. And they, I just couldn't say it. It's in my tongue. There is a word for it. Anyway, they left. So I've seen Ethiopian forces hitting people, cursing people in Shire, but not in Axum. So not all of the soldiers, the Ethiopian forces, were in some ways nice or silent, but they were also doing the bad things. I've heard so many stories, raping women, killing young people, especially in Mekelle. They were doing so many crazy stuff, especially nowadays. You can see like there are some videos they start coming out. But after all, the that particular group that was in Shire, that was sent to look after the Eritrean forces. They were hit themselves also, and the lieutenant or colonel or something, I don't know, he was hit and he was hospitalized. But before we left Shire, we were told by the Ethiopian forces, actually, by some of the forces. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
So not all of them, but I can confidently say about the Eritrean forces, all of them were cruel, evil, killers, thief. You can't even say thief. Thief is like when he hide himself and then try to take something. Those confidently, they just come to your house and grab whatever they want. So that was not all the Ethiopian forces are the same, but you can just, if you are there and you see the Eritrean forces doing whatever they want, and the Ethiopian forces would just let them do and then not saying anything, you can tell there is a mission that they carry on. They have been told something not to do anything crazy like the Eritreans do. And then also when the Eritreans do kill and destroy, not to say anything to them. This is some kind of mission. That's what I'm saying. My observation was just, this is a political game